This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Knick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks take on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight in the first week of the in-season tournament. And, you know, the Knicks have way more at stake than just this in-season tournament, though. No doubt about that. A lot more at stake, ladies and gentlemen. Before I even jump into that, I want to give a big shout-out to Shannon Riley. Thank you for hitting me on the Cash App. He said, keep up the great work, and Knicks Nation got you. You know what? Knicks Nation has definitely had me, man. I appreciate it big time. Knicks Nation, thank you very much for continuously supporting me. As you all know, the channel's been demonetized, you know, so I threw my Cash App out there for people to support the channel, or my PayPal, Cash App, $ nothing but Knicks, PayPal.me/nothing but Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get to this New York Knicks stuff, because there is a lot of worry in Knicks Nation right now about the New York Knicks. People are concerned, ladies and gentlemen, very, very concerned that the Knicks, you know, are not going to be as good this season. I'm not exactly sure if I'm that worried, because it's so early in the season. I mean, we're talking about 5 games. But you know how Knicks fans get. Knicks fans get worried easily. But I do, you know, I want to make sure that we stay calm and not go too crazy over what we're seeing from the Knicks. Because there's been a few positives that you could point to. Been a few positives. The fact that the Knicks have not played well in any of these games, and they're still 2-3 on the season, I think is a positive. Because the Knicks haven't played well. You know, besides maybe Atlanta when they shot the ball well. But they haven't shot the ball well in most of these games. They haven't hit free throws in most of these games. Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson haven't really played well in more than most of these games. They're 2-3. Things could maybe be worse than that, right? I was on the show with the Morning Brew this morning, and my man Phil said, you know, I'd be happy if they hustled hard, but we're 0-5, and I was like, I'd be scared if they hustled as hard as they could and they were 0-5. If they played as hard as they could and they were 0-5, because you know that would mean to me that they just don't have it. I think that there's a lot more that we can see from this Knicks team, ladies and gentlemen. So while I am concerned about a few things, you know, that we're seeing from Julius Randle, I think that's one of the biggest concerns so far this season, Julius Randle. I'm definitely concerned, but I'm not just straight up worried. But I am concerned because, obviously, I want to see more from Julius Randle. I want to see Julius Randle do the things that we expect from him. And we haven't seen him as of yet. Julius Randle looks a little bit slower than usual. Right? Julius Randle looks maybe a little bit confused. He looks like we've seen him in the playoffs. So that's definitely a concern. I feel like and believe that he's going to respond, rebound, But there's a concern there, and I think it's rightfully so. We should be concerned a little bit, right? Because, as far as Julius Randle goes, that could be as far as this Knicks team goes. So I think we have the right to be concerned about Julius Randle, his state of mind, and if he, and him rebounding. I think he's going to rebound. I think there are a lot of factors at play, but yes, I believe that Julius Randle is going to rebound. But there are a lot of factors at play. We got to look at, what is the team doing as a whole? I think that's a big factor, a huge factor, because, and the reason why I say that, and I'm sorry that my screen blacked out on you. Hopefully it's back. And the reason why I say that is because there are certain limitations Julius Randle has as an offensive player. He's not the type of guy, he's not like Jason Tatum, and he could just pull up a mid-range and knock it down, off the dribble. That's not his style of game, right? Julius Randle is, I'm going to bully my way to get what I want. That's Julius Randle's style of game. Right now, Julius Randle is basically 3 or to the basket. Not really that mid-range king. And when teams and when you have teams that play the style of defense that they're playing against the Knicks, you need a guy like Julius Randle to be able to knock down those mid-range shots on his own. On his own. And when I say on his own, I mean create that shot. That's not what he does. And so, therefore, he struggles when teams play the style of defenses they're playing. Because Julius Randle is a beast to handle one-on-one. No doubt about it. We all know that. He's a beast to handle one-on-one. So, instead of playing a one-on-one, teams do similar to what you're going to see tonight versus Giannis, what the Knicks are going to do versus Giannis. Julius Randle has the ball at the elbow or, in the mid-range area. And you got 3 guys ducking in, queuing in on Julius Randle, daring him to make a move to the basket. As soon as he makes a move, there's some guy coming from somewhere to double team, trap. Right? So now Julius Randle is afraid to make a move. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't have the leaping ability of Giannis. Right? Teams do that to Giannis. What's Giannis going to do? I'll just jump over you. Now come jump with me. Julius Randle can't do that. Julius Randle doesn't really have long arms. He's 6'8", but he doesn't have long arms. You know what I mean? So now Julius Randle's got to figure out, what do I do? How do I get a shot off? Right? And he struggled to get those shots off. Right? Because he just doesn't have that mid-range ability. A downfall of Julius Randle. One of the reasons why it's hard for him to be your primary scorer. But, the 25 a game is great when he's giving you 25 a game. You know what I mean? But that primary scorer has, all 3 levels. And I think Julius Randle's missing the middle level right now. Not that mid-range guy. So he struggles when teams play this type of defense. And then it gets even worse when we're not hitting the 3. Right? If Brunson, if RJ, if Grimes, if these guys are knocking down threes and shooting, 37, 38% from the three-point line throughout the game, teams can't collapse. Right? Now they're like, okay, I got to watch the three-point line. Then it opens up more lanes for Julius Randle. And I'm not blaming the team for Julius Randle. What I'm saying is Julius Randle doesn't have the mid-range jump shot, in my opinion, to counteract the type of defense teams are playing, especially when the Knicks aren't hitting the 3. So there's a lot at play there. Whole lot at play there. You know what I mean? We need Jalen Brunson to get going. He's had one good game, but he hasn't really gotten going the way that we have, the way that we know he can. So the Knicks really need Jalen Brunson to get going. You know what I mean? we'll see. We're gonna go get into the injury report, lineups, and all that kind of stuff. Let me get my man Spree on the line, and see what Spree has to say. But let me make sure that I have everything right with the sound first before I get Spree on the line, because every time I have to move my equipment and all that kind of stuff, something messes up. Never fails. You know what I mean? I think that I'm good, so I'm gonna get my guy Spree up in the building. Actually, now I think that I'm good, so I'm gonna get my guy Spree up in the building, and we are going to chop it up for just a second. Spree, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
Tim, I'm ready for this basketball game tonight. I'm excited.
I am ready for this basketball game too.
It's Friday night. You get another opportunity. Like the thing with Randall, I just feel like he's just slow with whatever. Yes, the hesitancy. I totally agree with you. So he's hesitant, but I just think he's slow with everything he's doing on the court.
Yeah.
I want to say everything. Most of the things he's being asked to do. So even when he sets a screen and is supposed to set the screen, he actually set a couple of legal screens that he got away with when I think he got frustrated. But for the most part, he's just very slow with all the moves he needs to do much quicker.
Yeah. Hey, Spree, you're a little bit muffled.
Okay. Is this better?
It's a little better, but it still sounds kind of muffled.
Okay. But you mind
That's
if I
better.
call you right back?
That's better right there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying he's too slow right now with what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just got to go quick. I can live with missed shots. I can't live with 3 for 15. You can't be 3 for 15. But Sam, he was hesitating, and he's got to be quicker. And another thing, I appreciate that Jalen Brunson got 4 charges, but 2 of them, Sim, were because Randall turned the ball over and Jalen hit his head on the floor on one of them. He had to sprint all the way back because of Julius just popping the ball up in the air. We need easy baskets. What I want to see tonight, Sim, I want to see us get out in the open floor. How about we force turnovers? How about we really make Milwaukee turn the basketball over so I can get Randall some easy ones early, let Randall feel good about himself. And the thing with Jalen, Sim, I think people are saying, has the league figured out Jalen Brunson? Brunson will figure it out, but yeah, they're loading up on him as they should. But he's still getting to his spots, Sim.
He's getting there. The shots haven't fallen, but he's definitely getting to his spots, and that's encouraging. Randall's not getting to his spots.
Right.
That being said, teams aren't just allowing him to get to his spots either. You know what I mean? It's a struggle for him to get to those spots, and this is where that mid-range jump shot to me is a key. And he doesn't really have it. I don't want to say he doesn't really have it. He doesn't have it.
Right. I mean, I thought Brunson missed shots the last game. I thought he got the looks he wanted for the most part. But some of it too, Sim, is if they're loading up on his pick and rolls like that, or even when it's not a pick and roll and Jalen's just bringing the ball up, you notice how those guys are sliding in. They have more eyes on him, Sim. When they're doing that, and they're really, I don't want to say it's not a double team, but it starts with him. The whole defense is shifted the way they've moved. It's on other guys, Sim, to soften this defense up for Jalen.
Right.
You have to make shots. That's what I'm saying. We got to go quicker, and Randall can't be hesitant from 3. Grimes can't be hesitant from 3. We have to soften the defense up. That will get these defenses to get away from Jalen a little bit, so Jalen will thrive.
Right. I mean, listen, it'll definitely soften the defense up, because right now teams are playing, packing the paint and daring the Knicks to shoot the 3 because they shot 16.7% last game. And you're just not going to get it that way. You got to knock down those shots when they're available to you. Listen, they've been on a night, off a night, on a night, off a night. So, let's see if tonight is a night when they're going to be on. right?
Let me answer this one last thing, Sim, and I'll let you go. I always appreciate you doing the preview, and I'll be with you. I'll give you a call after. But do you think Randall is his slow movement, all this stuff? Is it the surgery? Is it him not caring about a regular season basketball game? I don't want to say not caring, because I don't think Randall purposely wasn't trying. I just think sometimes Randall loses his mind a little bit sometimes and has bad awareness, and it's mistaken for him not caring. What do you attribute his slow movement to this year?
I think there's a couple of things. I think right now he probably doesn't have the same explosion that he had last season. That's one thing. I think he is, because of the way teams are playing defense, he's thinking instead of playing. And I also believe that he's not in the greatest of shape right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you think the shape thing is because he didn't play at all in the offseason, really? Like any scrimmaging, nothing?
I think so. I mean, obviously, once he was able to get back on the court, I'm sure he did the things that he needed to do. But for most of the summer, he wasn't working. He wasn't doing the type of work that he normally would do.
All right. Well, I'm hoping, Sam, tonight it's a Friday. Randall sometimes, Sam, I may be making this up, but just I want your audience to know I'm rooting for Randall. I think Randall will come to play on Friday night. I think it's a Friday night. I think he's going to come out of his shell a little bit. I'm not going to say he's going to explode, but I think I'm not giving up tonight. Sam, I'm expecting a good Randall game, and I think Brunson will get to his spots, make the shots that he's been missing, and let's get a win tonight. But you have a good one, Sam. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Appreciate it, Spree. Thank you for the time. I want to give a shout out to my guy, Brian Burke, on whenever that day was, Wednesday. Just before we left Legends, he hit me with a Cash App, so I appreciate it. Just wanted to go ahead and shout him out. Thank you for the Cash App, my friend. I appreciate you. But yeah, there's I don't want to say there's a lot at stake tonight, but there is a lot at stake. It's important. Let's say that. I don't want the Knicks to go 2-4 in the season right now. You know what I mean? I have higher expectations of the Knicks. It's possible they could be 2-4 though. There's no doubt about that. Let's take a look at the injury report for today. The New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, RJ Barrett is questionable. Left knee soreness. Now, Ian Begley did tweet out earlier today that he made a mistake. He showed a play where he thought RJ Barrett got hurt. And you probably remember in Boston he came up limping after a fast break. Because he bumped his knee. When people thought, that's when they heard that he tweaked his knee in Boston, people thought that was the play. That wasn't the play. It turns out that was actually the opposite knee. All right, so he has left knee soreness, which is more concerning to me, right? Because where did this left knee soreness come from? And what is it? Is it tendonitis for overuse? It could be. Remember, he played all summer long in FIBA, so there could be a little bit of tendonitis there for overuse. But it does concern me because previous game versus Cleveland, we saw exactly what RJ Barrett means to this basketball team. Like it or not, we saw what he means. We missed his scoring. We missed his ability to get to the line and knock down free throws. The Knicks scored 86, 89 points. And I'm not saying it's all because RJ Barrett wasn't there. Obviously, the Knicks shot terribly from the field. But RJ helps to loosen up that defense a little bit. Right? He helps to loosen up that defense a little bit through his penetration. Also, so far this season, he's been knocking down shots. So the Knicks missed him versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. And if he does not play tonight, they'll miss him tonight. He's questionable for tonight. So we're not exactly sure yet whether or not R.J. Barrett will play. If we get any updates during this stream, then, of course, I'll update you. But the Knicks, the offense, the lineups change. How you approach the lineups change. How you approach your offense changes because Josh Hart doesn't offer the same type of offensive firepower that R.J. Barrett does. And I'm not saying that R.J. Barrett is a juggernaut. I'm just saying that Josh Hart does not offer what R.J. Barrett does offer. So now you're basically down to two guys in that starting lineup that can really score the ball. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. Quentin Grimes is not giving you scoring unless it's on a kick out. Right? He's not creating a shot. Josh Hart's not creating a shot or creating for somebody else unless it's in transition. So without R.J. Barrett, without any of those three, you become a little bit more limited in that offensive lineup. In that starting lineup. A little bit more limited. He's been our best player so far this season, to be honest with you. And that's not even making it up. Him and Mitch, they've been the only two guys that have really been consistent so far these first 5 games of the season. So I'm hoping that R.J. Barrett, listen, if he's injured right now, if it's sore, I don't want him to push it because we need him to be healthy later in the season, of course. So I don't want him to push it. So I'm hoping that he comes back. And when he comes back, that he's able to continue his play. Every time RJ starts getting going strong, every season, when he starts to get going strong, then there's an injury. He's got to sit out for a game or 2 or 3, stretch of games. So let's hope we got RJ back sooner than later. For the Milwaukee Bucks, not really any players of significance. Marquise Bolden, Andre Jackson, Ty Washington, Lindell Wigginton. These guys are out for the Milwaukee Bucks. 3 of those guys playing the G League. That's probably why they're out. And then, I don't know if that's why they're out, but they're out. And then Andre Jackson is questionable with a left hip contusion. So, if R.J. Barrett is playing, if he does play, then the lineup looks, pretty much different than if he does not play. So let's take a look at those lineups, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's take a look at the lineups. If R.J. Barrett plays, you got Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. For the Bucks, you got Damian Lillard, Malik Beasley, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez. If R.J. Barrett does not play, then I would expect that Josh Hart steps into that lineup the same way he did versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. I, for one, believe that the Knicks should go with Evan Fournier in that lineup. That's just me, personally. I know, people are going to say, wow, you take him from the bench, take him from not playing to starting? Yeah. I think that's a way that you keep your bench intact. He's a veteran. It's not like he's a veteran. He knows what to do. He's been in the league long enough. I'd go with Evan Fournier. I'm not mad at Josh Hart in that lineup, but I'd go with Evan Fournier. He just was so small. So small in that lineup. A cumulative length. The Bucks, Brook Lopez, Giannis, and Chris Middleton. You're talking like 6'7", 6'8", with I think 6'7" with Chris Middleton. Giannis is like just about 7 foot. Brook Lopez over 7 foot. That's a lot of length from those 3 positions. Then when you look at the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson is of comparable size to Brook Lopez, but then Julius Randle, 6'8", Josh Hart, 6'4". And I know Josh Hart defends much bigger than his height, rebounds much bigger than his height. I get all of that. I understand it. There's no doubt about it. I still believe that, height means something. You know what I mean? It means something. And, we're missing it. We're missing it in that lineup without R.J. Barrett there. Chris Middleton, he hasn't played a ton of minutes this year. I think he's playing 16 minutes per game so far this season. He's not shooting the ball well, shooting like 22% from the three-point line this season. All right, so he's playing a little bit slower. And that could be part of the reason why the Bucks have been struggling a little bit too, because one of their main guys is not playing up to expectations so far this season. His minutes are down big time. Still starting, but his minutes are down big time. It's down about 8 to 10 minutes per game. He's only taking about 6 shots per game. But he's a mid-range guy. You know what I mean? So if he's not getting that 3 off, you might see him. He'll be able to post up a Josh Hart or Quentin Grimes. Right? Because looking at these lineups, we'll talk about matchups, but looking at these lineups, I think Josh Hart would probably guard Damian Lillard because he's a good defender. And Quentin Grimes might guard Chris Middleton. You get an extra inch to guard Chris Middleton. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to figure out, where does Jalen Brunson go? I'm assuming he goes on Malik Beasley, or you could switch it up and you could just have, because of Middleton and he's hasn't been mobile. I don't know what kind of video they're watching, what their strategy is. Maybe they say we're going to put Brunson on Chris Middleton, but then Chris Middleton would really be able to shoot over Brunson, if he decided to post him up. So there's definitely some matchup issues here, especially with Josh Hart in that lineup. I think there's some matchup issues lengthwise, Josh, what's popping with you? Not good at all. No, sound isn't that good. Not good at all. Yeah. So that's I don't know. But let's take a look at the benches. Obviously if RJ Barrett plays, you got Emmanuel Quickley, Dante DiVincenzo, RJ Barrett will play with the second unit. Then you got Josh Hart and you got Isaiah Hartenstein. For the Milwaukee Bucks at point guard, you got Cameron Payne, you got Pat Connaughton, you got Boot Camp, Jay Crowder, and you got Bobby Portis. All right, that's what the benches would look like if RJ Barrett plays. Now, if RJ Barrett does not play, based on the Cleveland game, you'd have Emmanuel Quickley, Miles McBride, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and then Isaiah Hartenstein. Again, you're still playing small. Still playing small, right? Because IQ is 6'3", 6'2", 6'3". Deuce is 6'2", 6'3". Dante DiVincenzo 6'4". Josh Hart 6'4". Isaiah Hartenstein, he's 7 foot. Now, Milwaukee, Cameron Payne, what is he, 6'4", 6'5", something like that. Pat Connaughton is 6'6". Boot Camp is 6'7". Jay Crowder is 6'6". Bobby Portis is like 6'10". So they've got collective length there. My man Ron, what's the call, bro? How you feeling? Hold on for 1 second. I don't think they can hear you. Go ahead, say that again. I'm doing pretty good, but let me make sure. Okay, now say that again. Say something else.
Check.
There
1,
we
2.
go. There we go. They can hear
All
you
right.
now. All right. Every time I get the equipment home, that's how things go.
Yeah, it happens, man.
That's how things go. Everything starts acting funny, getting all crazy. That's why I'm not supposed to bring this thing out of the house, but I left my other one at my father's, so I had to. But it's okay. It'll be fixed. It'll be good.
It is what it is, man.
So, I'm just looking at the lineups, and You know, the lineups change so drastically size-wise when RJ Barrett's out the game. If you're not using Evan Fournier, the lineups, everything is, drastic is different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The size is so different. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. The bench unit, everybody is 6'4" and below except for Hartenstein.
Yeah.
Right? Because
The mismatches, yeah.
mismatches all over the floor because, he's probably not going to use Evan Fournier to help with the size factor. I don't know. It's a little bit difficult. You know what I'm saying? And now we're really seeing it. We talked all during the offseason about not having that backup power forward. Now we're really seeing it. We're really seeing how this size comes in when one of those guys, are out. If Jalen Brunson was out, obviously his scoring and all of that stuff, you'd be worried about that. Right? But the size, okay, we know we can match up that way. Can we get the scoring? RJ Barrett or Julius Randle was out, it's an obvious issue. But what's your thoughts on tonight?
I wasn't really worried about it. But when you put up the side by side of both stars,
Yeah.
it doesn't look that great.
Right. Right.
Wait. Josh says there's an echo.
There's an echo?
Yeah, I think I'm hearing myself twice.
Hopefully they're not getting an echo. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Josh put it in the chat, so
Okay.
maybe they're hearing it on the stream.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll check it out. But
all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the Knicks are gonna have their hands full tonight. It's not easy. But I do think that some of the stuff is not what
Go ahead.
it seems on paper.
Yeah.
Because Middleton, he's still working through some things.
Right.
Lillard is still trying to find his way on this team. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. He had one really good game, and it's kind of been a struggle ever since. And then outside of that, I mean, Giannis is just had a couple off games himself. So I think that right now is a good time to catch him. Both teams are trying to figure it out. So it may not be as bad as people think.
Yeah. I agree. It may not be as bad as people think. I definitely agree because they're trying to figure some things out as well. But I think it still is. I mean, you got Giannis. You know what I'm saying? You got Giannis over there. You know what Giannis can do. You got Damian Lillard. Talent for talent. Our two guys don't match. Well, I don't know about Jalen Brunson, but you could argue that our two guys don't match up with their two guys.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when it becomes scary. But historically the Knicks have been able to defend or play Milwaukee tough. Sorry about that. See what I'm saying? All kinds of technical issues going on. When you get back in the building like that. You know
it is what it. You know what? Let me leave and come right back. 2 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me see what's going on.
Okay. Josh, what's going on, man?
Sam, do I sound better or is it the same?
I mean, it sounded a little bit better, but it's good.
Okay. Hopefully the folks in the chat can hear me. Salute to everyone. Salute to NBK family. Salute to, the chat. I just want to add my 2 cents on this whole thing with the Knicks offense. I think Julius Randle definitely should take some blame for how poor he's playing and how poor he's shooting on the floor in all these 4 games. But I just think it is a product of the offense. Ultimately, People say that, the Knicks offense, there's more movement. I don't quite see it that way. The numbers don't suggest that either. The Knicks are still very high in isolation. They're still low in cutting. Offensive rating is plummeted. Offensive points per game have plummeted. Free throws, we don't have to just talk about that. But to me, I just think the Knicks offense is just more of the same. And I think it does not present an opportunity for Julius Randle himself to shoot the ball better. I don't agree with Julius Randle taking more three-pointers and Tom Thibodeau, saying, Julius, we need you to shoot more three-pointers. I don't agree with that. That's not his game. And that leads to inefficiency. And that's exactly what we're seeing over these first 4 games. Hopefully the Knicks can, start hitting their shots. They've gotten some good open opportunities, but I just think teams are defending us way easier, based on how we run our offense. So I'm just looking at it that way. And, we got to snap out of it.
Yeah. Ron, what do you think with what Josh just said?
Yeah. I mean, it seems to be that way. Like the Knicks aren't sneaking up on anybody anymore. That's right. The book is out. Everybody knows what the Knicks are trying to do. They've adopted a defense to stop the Knicks on whatever they do offensively. Some teams are even trying to, promote better rebounding to get those second chance opportunities because they see how successful it is for the Knicks. Everybody's just doing whatever they can to stop the Knicks or steal from the Knicks style. So, yeah, it's not that easy. And the fact that the guys are also struggling while being double teamed and they're taking away the sweet spots. It's a little difficult. And I think this actually has to do with a lot of the role players. If guys don't step up, we're going to continue to have this issue. So I don't know what's going on with that, man. It sounds like we really need guys like Quickly, Grimes, and Hart to step up. Because DiVincenzo, I think, is doing his job.
Right. Well, he's doing his job. He did his job last game. You know what I mean? I don't know. Guys got to step up. Guys got to make shots as well. I do think that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? Making shots, because we've gotten open shots and we haven't hit those shots. And I think if you hit those shots, I do think the offense loosens up. The defense loosens up. Let me say that. If you hit those shots, I think the defense loosens up, and you're probably looking at a different basketball game then.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because the defense loosens up some. Jalen Brunson isn't shooting over three outstretched hands, right? Because now because the defense has got to respect the 3-point shooters. Julius Randle maybe doesn't have as many people queuing in on him when he's in that mid-post area, if guys are making shots. So I do think making shots is a big part of it. I'm not taking anything. Julius Randle's got to make shots. He's got to score. He's got to do the things that he can do. And I talked about his limitations earlier, not related to his injury, but, as far as him being able to make mid-range shots and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? He's not a mid-range shooter that way. So I think, that becomes an issue. So knowing that, we got to be able to knock down those open threes when they're available, those open shots when they're available. We got to hit them. It's imperative for this offense to do so. You know what I'm saying? It's imperative for this offense to do so in order for the Knicks to be successful night in and night out. They've got to hit shots. So far, it's been up and down. They also got to make free throws. What do you make of the free throw shooting?
More of the same, Sam. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they seem to have weak legs at the free throw line. I don't know what the reason is, but they've been historically a bad free throw shooting team under Tom Thibodeau. I don't know if it's because he's working on too hard in practice. I don't know what it is, but that is just something that's inexcusable. I don't know why the Knicks are at bad free throw shooting. And it affects games. We can have 2-possession games into 1-possession games because of our poor free throw shooting. And it's not just from people like Randall and Grimes. It's Brunson too. Brunson is not making free throws. Emmanuel Quickly, who was one of the best free throw shooters in the NBA last season and the season before, has been missing some key free throws as well. So I don't know what it is. And I don't even know how they can get better. I don't know if it's something in practice or what.
I mean, I'm sure they shoot free throws in practice. Just about every team does. Maybe they just can't make them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they just can't make them. Every team shoots free throws in practice. That is a common cool down activity. Shoot free throws, work on out of bounds plays. After you've gone through, a practice, okay, we're gonna end with shooting free throws, doing some out of bounds plays, right? Because it's low work, low stress activities. You know what I'm saying, to help your body cool down before maybe you stretch to, go home for the day. They shoot free throws. I think it has more to do with and being in the game. I mean, you can go 90 for 100 in practice, but when you get in the game, that the stress level is different. And the concentration level is different. Your legs are a little bit heavier. All of those type of things. I think the guys shoot free throws. Obviously there can be an argument made that they don't because they're not hitting the shots. But I don't know. It's
Well, Sam, I wasn't insinuating that they don't shoot free throws in practice. What I was insinuating was maybe the coach is working them way too hard in practice. So when it comes to the game time, they're not making them. I don't know. I mean, listen, under the last 4 years of Tom Thibodeau, they haven't been negative a free throw shooting team. So that's the only constant I see.
What were they before Tom Thibodeau? Free throw shooting. Because they weren't good before.
I don't know.
They weren't a good basketball team before Tom Thibodeau, but I don't know what they were shooting free throws.
Yeah, it's something I would have to take a look at. But
because maybe it's the players that we have that can't hit them in those situations too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, listen, we got Mitchell Robinson. This is his 5th year on the team. We're not. Mitchell Robinson's not a good person to use as an example, right? He's a center. He's a big, not shooting free throws. But again, under the last 4 years of Tom Thibodeau, we haven't been that good, and we just don't know what that is. So I'm just trying to figure out what the reason is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. I think, something as simple as free throw shooting, you know what I'm saying? In high school, yeah, coach, you do some drills to make sure that they can shoot free throws and hit free throws. You get an NBA, that's something you can go to any gym and just do. Shoot free throws. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I don't want free throws to be one of the issues that we don't perform well in tight games or in the playoffs. Right now, it is. You know what I'm saying? I hope that it changes, but I don't know. Let's look at some matchups for the night. Obviously, you have Damian Lillard now for the Milwaukee Bucks. He's he's a dog to deal with. Who do you think who's going to match up on Damian Lillard? I mean, is it going to be Josh Hart? Is it going to be Quentin Grimes? Ron? I think you're muted, Ron.
My bad. Yeah. I was wondering why I didn't hear the echo. I think it's going to be Grimes. I think he's the guy. Until they get something else going on, he's the dude. That's his assignment. And right now, that's the least he could do because he's struggling on the offensive end or not being as productive. So we need him to try to focus on at least the defensive end and slowing Dame down. I don't think he's going to do a great job at it. Dame is just if Dame's going, he's going, but he can try. I think that the Knicks just have to flash guys at Dame. It's got to be Hart. It's got to be DiVincenzo. It's got to be Grimes. And depending on how Quickly's looking, maybe even Quickly's got to take him. I don't know. It's tough. But those are the only guys. I don't think anybody else on this team is going to be able to guard him.
What about Josh Hart? Did you say Josh Hart?
Oh, yeah. Grimes, Hart, primarily. And then maybe DiVincenzo, possibly Quickly, depending on what the lineup is. But those two, Hart and Grimes, are the main two.
Yeah. Yeah. Who does Jalen Brunson guard? Because if you have, one of those guys is going to guard either, Grimes or Hart is going to guard Damian Lillard. They still got Malik Beasley and they got Chris Middleton. Who does Jalen Brunson guard?
Put Brunson on Beasley. I just think even though Beasley is a very good, adequate scorer, he's just not going to hit you at that level that Dame is going to hit you with. And obviously, you never know because we still haven't seen the same Chris Middleton in a long time.
That's what I was going to say.
Maybe Brunson won't get killed being on him. Right.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe we do see Brunson playing Chris Middleton, even though there's this, a size disparity. It's we've seen it before where, one of our small guards defends someone taller because of, just matchups. Like, he's not shooting the ball well. He's only playing 16 minutes per game right now. He's taking 6 shots per game right now. You know what I mean? He's shooting 22% from the 3-point line. So maybe they're looking at that and say, okay, we'll try this for right now, and then we can switch it up later.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know, because I don't know what Malik Beasley is averaging or what he's shooting or anything like that, but I feel like Brunson would have a hard time with Beasley too.
Yeah, I mean, Brunson's going to have a problem with anybody out there.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
We can't sugarcoat his defense.
Nah.
And the only reason we even bringing it up more these days is because his offense hasn't been hitting the way we got accustomed to last year.
Right. So far.
Yeah, it's early.
Yeah, my man Green, thank you for the Cash App. I appreciate it. He said these are for great seats on Wednesday. Want to give thanks. And yes, we did have some really good seats on Wednesday. So we had a really, really nice, perfect view of the court. It was really, really, really good seats, man. Josh, what are your thoughts on matchups for the night?
Josh, before you say something, I just want to say this real quick. I know we all know we have a free throw problem, but I will say, in fairness, technically Mitch is not the problem. He shot 48.4% for the year last year. Currently, he's shooting 50%. So he's improved.
He's big. I mean, last game he got to the line, maybe more than anybody for the Knicks. Yeah. He was living at the line.
Yeah, I don't look at Mitchell Robinson. I don't consider him in this whole free throw problem because he is what he is. Big, doesn't shoot the ball. That comes with the territory. In regards to matchups, I think it's no question Quentin Grimes is going to guard Damian Lillard. I think that is Quentin Grimes' matchup. The opposing guard who puts the ball on the floor the most, Grimes is going to be guarded. And I think they put Malik Beasley. It's going to be tough for him no matter what, but I don't see Jalen Brunson guarding Chris Middleton. I don't care how many minutes Chris Middleton is not playing. He is a mid-range demon, and that is trouble for the Knicks if they put Jalen Brunson on Chris Middleton. So I think that's how it'll be. Quentin Grimes, that has been his role consistently since he's been here or in the starting lineup, and I think that continues tonight.
Yeah. I still think there's going to be the question of who Jalen Brunson guards. Even if he's not guarding Chris Middleton, is he guarding Malik Beasley? right? Because Beasley can score just as well as Chris Middleton at this point in their careers. You know what I mean? Which one is he guarding? You know what I mean? Who, I think, matter of fact, Beasley might be the more lethal scorer at this point. So, that's going to be, I think that's going to be a difficult one for the Knicks to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you still got Giannis and you got, Damian Lillard you got to deal with. That's obviously going to be tough. But, those ancillary guys can always kill you.
All right.
They can always kill you. You know what I'm saying?
Sim, I wouldn't be surprised if Thibodeau starts Brunson on Lillard and just sees how the back and forth goes. Because just as Brunson can't really guard Lillard, Lillard can't really guard Brunson.
That's true. That could be. I mean, Beasley, Beasley's not giving you a ton of points, though. 12 points per game, 6'4". So the size isn't terribly bad. It's going to be interesting to see who matches up where tonight.
Ron, I just want to throw out there that, Lillard can't guard Jalen Brunson either, but that's not a wash matchup. That Damian Lillard is clearly better than Jalen Brunson. No question about it. That's not a wash. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, no. I'm thinking of it more
that's a one-sided matchup.
Yeah. I'm thinking of it more of the matchup might be what lights the fire on the Brunson. That competitive juice is the going back and forth. Lillard scoring, okay, I'm coming back down on the other side, and you know what I mean? It might be what he needs to get going.
Maybe. Chris Middleton this year, 7.3 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, 3 assists. Having a rough year. He might be on the downturn of his career right now.
It's wild.
Yeah, that is. So, but Josh, you said that's not a. You don't think that's a. You think Damian Lillard is that much better than Brunson just going 1-on-1 scoring?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, I know what Damian Lillard does. I know you laugh. You got your cynical laugh, but Jalen Brunson gave you 24 points per game last year. He didn't do that just by. I mean, and Damian Lillard probably gave you the same points per game. He's giving you 21.3 points per game this year. Brunson gave you 24 points per game last year. How did he get those 24 points?
So you're comparing what Damian Lillard is doing over 4 games compared to what Jalen Brunson did last season?
What I'm saying is he averaged 24 points per game last year. How did he get those 24 points per game? Damian Lillard probably averaged 21 points per game last year too, right? I mean, 21 or 24 points per game last year too. It's not like Jalen Brunson, can't give you 24 points per game or give you 24 points in a game. So I'm not sure I fully disagree that can't be a wash matchup.
It's a wash matchup, Sam. I don't care how you try to spin it and all of that. Damian Lillard is on a different stratosphere than Jalen Brunson.
Okay, I'm just saying Jalen Brunson is giving you 20. Jalen Brunson is giving you 20 points and 20.6 points per game this season. Damian Lillard is giving you 21 points per game this season. How is that not a wash?
Because Damian Lillard is a better player and a better scorer than Jalen Brunson.
I'm just giving you the numbers that they have right now. Over, for the most part, the same amount of games. I'm giving you the numbers that they have right now. Right? Brunson is shooting 43% from the three-point line. He's only shooting 38% from the field. Right? And if he has a hot night and gets his scoring from the field up to 49% like he did last year, he'd be giving you 26, 27 points per game. I'm not sure that's not a wash, to be honest with you. I can't sit here and say that's not a wash. And every time you type, we can hear it tapping. You gotta mute. You gotta make sure you mute it. Or then it must be your Bluetooth. Must be your Bluetooth, because once I mute it, the static goes away. But Jay, I'm not sure that's not a wash, between the two. You know what I mean? That's why I can understand what you're saying. I can understand what you're saying, Ron. They might be able to go score for score. You know what I mean? And it becomes a wash because how many guys on the team are actually gonna just stop Damian Lillard from scoring 21, 22 points? Probably nobody.
That's yeah. He's a beast. Like you can't. Yeah. I don't got. I got no answers for this dude. So I hear you on that.
Probably nobody. And to be honest with you, no, I'm not disrespecting Quentin Grimes, but I don't see that Quentin Grimes has done anything special on any of these guys this season. I'm not seeing it. I think these guys have basically done what they're going to do even if Quentin Grimes was guarding them. So, I wouldn't discount it that he starts on Damian Lillard and see if, Josh Hart and Grimes can deal with Beasley and Chris Middleton. And if things get out of hand, then you can always make the switch.
Sam, I think the reason why Grimes is guarding the opposing team's best guard wing is because he is the best option, like all three opponents. And I agree, he's not doing anything special on them. But for the team purpose, he's the quote unquote sacrificial lamb. Right?
That's true.
Because he's not going out there. Again, the team is not drawing up any offensive plays for him. Right? His offensively, he knocks some shots down. He doesn't. He's really a sacrificial lamb on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, quote unquote. You know what I mean? You're not putting RJ on it. You want to rest RJ for offense. Brunson, same thing. So I think that's the reason why Grimes is that guy is in that role. And he's a good defender too. He makes some stuff, forces turnover, things that nature.
Yeah, he's a good defender. I just don't see, him. He's been on guys that's hard to stop. So you're not just going to stop those guys anyway. You know what I'm saying? He gets the tough task every night. There's no doubt about that. You know what I mean? That's why it's hard. It's hard to get mad at him because he's always getting that tough task. You know what I mean? So there's always going to be extra work for Quentin Grimes on the defensive side of the ball, which can actually, when it can actually impact his offensive side of the ball too. His offensive game, because you're expending so much energy on the defensive side of the game. We will see tonight. You know what I mean? We'll definitely see tonight. Keys to the game. Any keys to? I'll read mine off, and then I guess we can get you guys keys to the game. My first key to the game is obviously Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. You know what I'm saying? If we're not, if they're not playing well, then we don't have a chance in this game. And, that's just that. They're not playing well. We don't have a chance. We need those guys to hoop. Number two is they got to hit the three ball. You know what I mean? Hitting that three ball is going to open up the offense, soften up the defense, open up the offense. You know what I mean? And they're gonna get some 3-point shots, in my opinion. Randall's still gonna drag in the defense. Brunson is still gonna drag in the defense. When that ball gets kicked out, guys got to hit it, make the right passes out, because Julius Randle, in my opinion, made some bad passes out of, when the defense collapsed. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he was finding the wrong person. The person that was clearly open, he'd go the opposite way sometimes. You know what I mean? He's got to you got to see the right pass and make the right pass, not make the one you want to make, but make the pass that's open. Take care of the basketball. They've had some trouble this season turning the basketball over. You know what I mean? So they got to take care of the basketball. These guys can get out and run. Give Lillard and Giannis different looks. You know what I mean? We can't just go straight up the same looks all the time. We got to get these guys different looks, make them have to think a little bit, right? There's definitely different guys you can send at Lillard because they're all, the same height. DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Deuce, right? Because Deuce will probably play. If RJ Barrett's not playing, give Giannis different looks. It's mainly going to be Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson, but sometimes maybe you're creating the wall, sometimes not creating the wall. Give him different looks. Give him some things to think about, and then make free throws. You know, against Boston, the Knicks make free throws. They win that basketball game. Maybe against Cleveland, the second time, if they make more free throws, they lost by 6. They missed 10 free throws. You make some more free throws, that game is a little bit different down the stretch as well. You know, but those are my keys to the game. Josh, you got some keys to the game?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, my keys to the game: free throw shooting. You know, keep yourself in the game. Poor free throw shooting is definitely particularly dealing with a top. That's going to be number 1 for me. 2, simple and plain, hit your shots. I think, you know, even though the offense is still stagnant in my opinion, and I don't like the offense and how we run our offense, there's still some open shots to be made. So hit the shots that are there. Particularly the kickouts for Grimes. Got to be able to knock some shots down, man. I'm sorry, I'm on your side, but you're getting these opportunities. You got to be able to knock those down. Transition. I don't know how different the transition is with Josh Hart in the starting lineup compared to when he's on the bench, but maybe we can get some easy points in transition that way. That's how the bench unit normally works. So, you know, let's see if we can probably force some turnovers and get some points going the other way. I think that definitely helps us, particularly with the stagnant offense that we have. So those are my 3 keys: free throw shooting, knocking down the open shots that we have, and getting up the floor a little bit more in transition.
Okay. All right. Ron?
I would say all the keys that that Josh said, I think they're very important. They're part of the mix. All the keys that you have listed, I think they have to do all of that. The only thing I would add is I don't think the Knicks win. Even with this, I don't think the Knicks win if some combination of Grimes, Hart, DiVincenzo, and Quickly, I think 2 of those guys got to score some points for them to, because that's the thing.
Auxiliary pieces.
Yeah, they got to make up for what you're missing from RJ. So yeah, I think, and in a way, I think you need maybe 2 of the 4, and if you get 3 of the 4, that'll be great. But 2 of the 4 at least to be in the game, because Julius and Jalen might be able to carry the rest on their own, but they're going to need some help.
Yeah. Yeah, Julius really needs to have a bounce back game. You know, he needs to have a bounce back game for real. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Without a doubt.
And technically and historically, every time they play Milwaukee, Julius usually gets busy.
Mm-hmm.
But
right.
We'll see.
You give any credence to this being a in-season tournament matchup?
Well, this is it right now, Sam. I don't know where people are at. I don't know what they're sleeping on. It happens now. It's going down. I don't know. Who cares? It's in-season tournament. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Oh, you broke up, Josh. We can't. No, we're not hearing you at all. All we hear is tapping. All we hear is, tapping. Yeah. For me, I don't take much, I really don't care at all that it's the in-season tournament game. You know what I mean? I know ESPN is, they're gonna try to, they're gonna hype it up and do all of that kind of stuff. But, it's just a game. Nothing special.
This is one of the weirdest thing ever, Sam. I don't like it because it would have been better if they said, okay, we're going to do an in-season tournament, right? But the regular season schedule stops right here at this point, right? And the next 15 games are this tournament. And it's weird, like it is different. The Knicks playing Golden State or whatever. It's all over, but it's a specific. How you put a tournament within the schedule of the? It's just this is weird, man.
And people are having a hard time figuring it out.
Yeah, I don't
like who plays when, why, and all of that stuff. They're just having a hard time figuring that part out.
All I'm looking forward to is seeing what courts look like what and what people are wearing. I mean, I don't know what else I'm looking for in this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You know, you could have just stopped and said, all right, we're going to have a quick in-game, you know, we're going to take the teams, you know, let's say you get all the way to December, we're going to take the teams with the best records and have a quick tournament and then move on with it. You know what I'm saying? You know, the top 8 teams or something like that in the entire league, have a tournament with the top 8 teams and then move on or something like that. You know what I mean? You know, doing it the way that they're doing it is just, I don't know. Maybe we'll get used to it. You know, and it starts to mean something. I don't know.
I mean, the only thing I did say before is that I hope, and that might benefit the Knicks, maybe because, I don't know, does the runner-up get anything or is it only the champion?
I think I don't know. Not sure.
Because I know the champion, all players get like 500,000 each, which means nothing to the big guys, but to the Emmanuel Quickleys, to the Grimeses, at least right now, that money matters. So, you know, maybe they start playing with a little fire in their belly. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully later on this evening, the tech issues are taken care of. You still got an echo in your ear, Ron?
Only when I speak or when Josh would speak. But when you speak, you sound great because you're the Podfather.
Mm-hmm. Huh. That's weird. So somehow it's coming back to you. I don't know. But anyway, folks, we're going to get up out of here. I got to get to practice. I got to be there at 6 o'clock. It's 5:40. So I got to roll. I will be back on the post-game show. All right. And, we'll have those tech issues all cleaned up. I think the Knicks going to win tonight. I say that every night, but I'm giving us a win tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out. Peace.